Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd like to do today is go through a book entitled When the World Feels Like a Scary Place, a book that is authored by Abigail Gewirtz, and it's a book that talks about trusting yourself, trusting others, and finding safety in a chaotic world, or a world that appears to be chaotic. So this book here helps provide a roadmap for parents and caregivers to help children navigate feelings of fear and anxiety in an increasingly uncertain world, or should we say a world that appears to be increasingly uncertain. Drawing from her experiences and expertise as a psychologist, Gewirtz offers practical strategies and insights for fostering resilience and emotional well-being. So let's peel back and have a look at what we can learn from this book, and we'll step through it one item at a time. So the first main point that the authors make here is to be able to understand fear in its proper context. Gewirtz emphasises the importance of understanding the context in which fear arises. She explains that fear can be a natural response to real threats, but it can also be exacerbated by media exposure and societal issues. Recognising the sources of fear helps adults address these feelings in children more effectively. And I guess what we need to understand is that there are many fears that are irrational. So these fears need to be identified, named, and I guess worked on with our children. The next point to come from this author is that we need to model emotional regulation. The author highlights the role of caregivers in modelling emotional regulation by demonstrating healthy ways to cope with emotions. Adults can teach their own children how to manage their own feelings of fear and anxiety. This modelling includes expressing emotions openly and discussing coping strategies, how we as adults cope with these real or imagined fears. The author then moves on to talk about the importance of creating a safe environment. Gewirtz discusses the significance of creating a safe physical and emotional environment for all children. This includes establishing routines, setting strong, firm boundaries, and providing the reassurance that children need in order to get through these challenging moments. Because a sense of safety allows children to explore their feelings and develop resilience, which is what we want to see as parents in our children. This comes about through encouraging open communication. This book stresses the importance of open communication between parents and children. The author advises caregivers to create a space where children feel comfortable expressing their fears, their doubts, their uncertainties, and their flow-on anxieties. Active listening and validating these feelings can strengthen trust and connection. The author also talks about teaching critical thinking skills, and Gewirtz encourages parents to help children develop their own critical thinking skills in response to fear-inducing information. This includes the ability to evaluate sources of information, distinguishing between fact and fiction, information and misinformation, information and disinformation, and understanding the difference between potential threats and exaggerated fears. We need to foster, where possible, empathy and connection is another key message, and the author highlights the importance of fostering empathy within children by encouraging them to consider the perspectives of others. Caregivers can help children cultivate connections and develop a sense of their own community, which can mitigate feelings of isolation and fear. We look at the importance of promoting coping skills in children, and the author offers practical strategies for teaching children coping skills to manage their own anxieties. These tools help empower children to take an active role in managing their own emotions and the limiting emotions and limiting fears that they have. We need to encourage, where possible, positive actions, and this book emphasises the importance of encouraging children to take positive actions in response to fear. Take fear on and don't back, because it'll chase you. This could involve helping others, engaging in community service, or advocating for social causes. This action can foster a sense of agency and control. We need to recognise the impacts of technology, and Gewirtz discusses the dual role of technology in shaping children's perception of the world. While it can provide information and connection, excessive exposure to negative news and social media can heighten anxiety. She advocates for mindful technology use and setting boundaries around media consumption. And the last point from this author is building resilience through adversity. The author emphasises the potential for growth through failure and adversity. She encourages caregivers to help children see challenges as opportunities for learning and resilience building. This perspective fosters a growth mindset and prepares children to face future uncertainties with confidence. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we've learnt a few more things. Take care and have a good day.